Subway safety at the top of everyone's minds this morning following yesterday's near-fatal shooting at the start of the evening rush hour commute.
Subway riders ducked for cover while others were trampled trying to avoid the gunfire on the A train in downtown Brooklyn. Joining us this morning is New York City Transit President Richard Davey to discuss safety underground, which is an all-important topic as we head into the morning commute. Mr. Davey, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So the video, it's alarming, right? Not only the incident that took place, but the panic on the riders' faces. Obviously, there's an issue with safety underground that people are worried about. Let's talk with the latest on the condition of the man who was shot and the situation. What exactly led to this all to begin with?
Well, first, I mean, I do want to acknowledge, harrowing, right, for those customers who had to observe this fight, this whatever seemingly that spun out of control. As I understand it, the person who was shot is still in critical condition. You know, the woman involved is still, police are looking for. The other gentleman's in custody. But I mean, my message to those riders is, you know, harrowing, scary. There's no doubt. You know, thankfully, there were cops right on that platform. You know, thanks to NYPD surging, you know, officers into our system, which is great news. What I also know about this city, I lived here during 9/11, and I'm a proud New Yorker again for the last 2 years. Is it's a resilient place, and you know, we had 4 million customers in our system a couple of days ago. I expect we'll have, you know, a lot of folks in our system today. But you know, safety is definitely top of mind for us, and we're working hard to keep, you know, our customers safe. But you know, I watched that video too, and just felt for those customers who felt, you know, nervous, scared of what was happening around them.
Yeah, I mean, MTA Chair Janno Lieber talked about how frustrated he is. Yeah. I mean, we have the bag checks, we have the National Guard, everyone coming in and trying to put their hand in to try to help people feel safer. But what else can be done? Really?
I mean, you know, I think a few things. Certainly, there are just too many guns in our city and too many guns in our system. I think the police have made over a dozen arrests this year already. You know, quality of life stops that led to a stop and frisk or a conversation with an individual who had a weapon on them. I think that's one thing. You know, I'm not sure related to here, but I think a few of the other instances, high-profile instances we've seen, recidivism is a big problem in our city, and so. You know, I think Chief Kemper, who's doing an amazing job at NYPD Transit, said last year, you know, 1% of individuals committed about 20% of the crimes in the subway system, 20%. So if you could just address that issue through the justice system, I think that's another piece.
Meaning bail reform.
Bail reform, maybe, you know, looking for stiffer sentences, maybe transit bans, for example. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways you can address that, for sure. You know, obviously, and our employees have been in some high-profile assaults as well, and I think about them every day. Like how, you know, we continue to work to keep them safe, but this has to be the entire system as well. So look, we have a lot of work to do, and that's not just at New York City Transit and MTA, but when I say we, I mean elected officials, district attorneys, judges, you know, and other leaders.
How do you fix the perception, right? Because you're out there, you're putting the bag check was to change the perception, like, okay, well, we're here to provide safety, but that's a bag check, right? This guy brought a gun allegedly onto the train in a jacket, right? So the bag check wouldn't have done much for that. So how do you change the perception of the subways being safe?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just sort of one trip at a time, one day at a time, right? So that's not going to turn out. We can quote all the statistics we want. You know, February crime was actually down versus last year.
It doesn't matter. The numbers aren't.
Agreed. No, and that's right. So that's why we have flooded the system with police officers. So, you know, 1,000 more cops in the system. We have cameras everywhere. I've come to say that we have more cameras than a Las Vegas casino in our system, which includes now on train cars, although that train car did not have video, but by the end of the year, every train car will. So if you do harm in our system, we will get a picture of you, we will find you, you know, the police will catch you. I think that's what we, you know, need to do. But as I said, I mean, I rely sort of on the core of New Yorkers as well, who, you know, are resilient, who have seen, you know, terrorist attacks and superstorms and blackouts, and the city just continues to rise again. And so I think it's got to be that balance, right? We have to show in our positions that we're doing what we can to keep New Yorkers safe, and then that New Yorkers, you know, continue to build confidence that they can use our system as well.
Yeah, I mean, I take the subway every day, and as someone who takes mass transit, and I have a lot of friends, and we know a lot of folks who work here that take mass transit who are like, you know what? I don't think I don't want to do it anymore. So they want more immediate answers. you'll be sitting down with the MTA and the NYPD. Are there more immediate solutions? Anything?
Yeah. So, we're actually having a meeting today with the district attorneys and their team to talk about some of those changes or potential changes we can make to make our system safer through the criminal justice system. And then the recidivism, as I talked about, for sure. As I said, we've got police in the system, so we're flooding the system with police officers, as I said, who were, on the platform at that moment at Hoyt as well. So, we're taking a number of steps to make sure that the system, is safer for our customers. But as I said, we've got work to do.
And it's a delicate dance you have to do, right? Because you're flooding the system, but then you get the critics who are saying, well, there's militarization of the subway system, right? And then you have the folks who were on that train who I'm sure are saying, it's great they were on the platform, but they weren't on the train, and we were there while there was a shootout. So what is, if it's not more police, what do you see as an immediate answer? And what does a transit ban for someone look like?
Yeah, so I think a transit ban is for someone who consistently is committing crimes in our system, right? So I think Chief Kemper, who's doing a great job, as I mentioned, 1% of folks committed about 20% of the crimes in our subway system last year, right? And so, I think, in some instances, those folks have probably forfeited their ability to use their system. We had an individual last year, same individual assaulted 4 different employees over like a 13-month period. And that guy shouldn't be using our subway system. He's using it to commit crimes and assault our people. I think those are the steps, that we need to continue to take to make the system safer, for sure.
Yeah.
I would say one other thing, too. The number one issue that our customers have been telling us consistently is on their minds is actually not public safety specifically or crime specifically. It's seeing emotionally disturbed individuals, right? Now, we all see that, right? So folks who have, are having acute mental health crises, and we've been investing in a program quietly over the last few months that's been working. MTA police have been teamed with mental health clinicians, getting those folks out of the system. You don't know if they're violent or not, unsafe or not. Many aren't.
Yeah.
Some may be. Getting them the services that they need. In many instances, it's involuntary, right? Because they can't make a conscious decision on their own. That is also helping, and that has been, I think, probably the most sort of disconcerting issue for our customers, and we're taking steps there as well.
All right. Thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you for
I know it's a
having me.
tough job you've got, so
Yeah.
thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.